Okay. Hello, and good evening. Our Payne here, and we are. I would imagine you guys could hear me. Sounds like my sound system is working pretty good. So, welcome to the Black Man Unfiltered Network and another Boomer show. I believe 100 watts will be showing up sooner or later, but that's cool. And this is part three of our man stuff series. 100 watts started that, so I said, well, this is part three. We might as well finish it out. We're talking about what black men need to do, and to earn the ability to tell black women or hold them accountable. So there's going to be a lot of discussion on that because that seems something that's interesting. But before we get to all of that, so how's everybody doing? I know it's early for some of you guys, so once y'all start showing up into the chat, we can start moving. Now, I don't have a lot of videos today. I think we're going to wing it. I'm going to probably throw the link down early, so anybody wants to pop up, you can just join the show, and we can begin talking about this situation about black men earning the right to tell women to shut the hell up. Get your act together. I have my own answer to that, but we got a couple of videos kind of covering that. Maybe back a little bit and say how we're in the predicament that we are in, and how we're going to try to get out of it, and what men should really do about it. Accountability is a fickle thing because there's a couple of components to it to make it actually effective, or to hold somebody accountable. So we'll talk about that as the day goes on. Let me do this because I know that if anybody wants to talk it early on, I'm okay. So there you have it. So I have a couple of clips that I was going to show, and then BMU sent a video that's interesting because it kind of hits to the matter of what this whole show could be about in just one little short clip. And, I can see how that would be interesting. The first, I guess the first thing on man stuff, number one, I believe we were talking about, and I wasn't here for that. They were talking about men working with their hands. And that was a nice video that I saw some of that discussion, after on replay. And then we talked about the second one last week. And so this one, kind of a trilogy, if you will, to put this kind of to bed before we go on to the next topic. So what I want to do is kind of start from the beginning to say, well, what do women need to be held accountable for? And because there's layers to this, right? Just like everybody else, there's a class divide with women, and just like it is with men, just like it is with society. If we want to leave it to black women, there's different levels of accountability depending on where you fit on that social spectrum. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're living on Section 8 and food stamps and government assistance, that might be different than a woman who is college educated and thinks she has the world by the horns, or and upward mobile. What's her accountability? What's her accountability to family? What's her accountability to raising children? What's the accountability? So it's a different thing depending on where you sit on that spectrum. So and of course, here's the age-old adage, and I saw just Trey just pop in, but the age-old adage is, you can't tell black women anything, right? So this is like a trick question to begin with anyway. Black men can't tell black women anything. Black women can't tell black women anything. So holding people accountable, well, it's a tricky thing. So how do we begin? How do we start? if we start at the kind of lower end of the spectrum where we have uh, single mothers, right, raising children that they can't afford, they slept with some bum, he's gone and they're all alone. What's their accountability? I mean, maybe the first one is, hey, how about not having another kid from another dude who's in the same position as the first guy? How about that? Because it's already too late to stop the first kid from being here. So I had a little clip from that I was going to show, just kind of set the tone before I showed the video that where the question was asked, what position should a man be to hold a woman accountable? But let's kind of work our way to that first. So I'm going to show this first clip. And so it's going to just take us in the same shit we've been talking about all the time. But it's from a man's point of view about, and I should just show it. And he's kind of complaining because a woman let him in his house and she didn't care about her son being there. Let me do this.
Be asking about why some of these brothers are so turned up on some of the sisters, even though they was raised with a single mother and didn't have a father. Well, I want you, let's review this clip, what this brother say, because people really don't understand. They don't even want to talk about how bad some of these mothers are.
Somebody tagged me in a post, and the post said, how do black men grow up with single mothers and don't have respect for black women? Let me tell y'all a story. I was talking to a woman some years back, and I gotta say talking, I can't even say dating because it was really just something casual. But she had kids. One of her sons was like 17, 18 years old. I get a text message at 2 o'clock in the morning talking about come through. I think the house is empty, so I show up for Bible study. Long story short, praise and worship starts getting.
Okay, so he said, so he thought that the kids was gone, they were doing their own thing, whatever, right? But that woman knew the whole time when she called that man over, her sons was there. Okay, she knew this.
Extremely loud, and the headboard starts hitting the wall, and she says, oh, we got to be quiet. My son's in the other room. Whole time I've been banging on this man's wall. I ain't even know it. I ain't signed up for that. Low key, I felt bad for Buddy. The next morning comes, I hear him washing dishes, walking around the house, talking to his homeboy about playing Call of Duty and all that. It's time for me to go, and I say, hey, I don't think it's best that your son sees me. She says, oh, he'll be all right. I'd even taken into account how any of that may affect him. And it concerned me because...
And it does affect him. Seeing man after man coming in and out the house that's not their father, hell yeah, that has an effect on a boy and a girl too. It definitely has an effect.
How many men has he seen come in and out of his house like that? How can he respect another woman when a random man cares more about his well-being than his own mom? A lot of times y'all ask that mother respect question assuming that the mother was respectable.
Yo, we'll stop it right there. Okay. Now, what I was saying before, okay, so there's a layers to this accountability thing. What kind of accountability really can be levied against a woman who doesn't care what kind of man she brings in? And who is the person to hold her accountable? Just like Trey said in his comment about, where's the consequence, right? Say that guy with the dreads said, hey, listen, this is bullshit. What you doing this? I didn't know he was here. Why are you stroking me with your son in the house like that? What's he going to do about that to correct her behavior? She's going to say, listen, you say another thing, you ain't getting shit. You're not going to get a return engagement. There's no way he could affect change on her. And there's no way that a black community or black men, what leadership or not, is responsible for that woman's behavior, right? We can't correct it. But still, that's just one level of it, right? So, I mean, it's still a good question. The fact that the question has been posed on us having to be able to earn the right to hold women accountable. I mean, the only women you really can hold accountable are the ones in your circle. And only a few select men know how to do that, even in the women in their circle. That's a whole nother thing, right? So that's just funny. So I'm gonna just kind of go through this thing real quick instead of me just because I have something from Greg Adams, and Greg Adams talks about a little bit deeper across the spectrum of where we sit as a community, right? And just the plight of he calls it beta male something, So let's just talk about that. It's real quick.
What we call going on right now, beta male energy. Beta male energy. Right now going on in society. We're seeing it. Now look at these numbers right here. They have what we also call single mothers are heroes. Look at this. 1950. These are percentage of births that are to unwed women. We think single motherhood has been around for a long time. It really hasn't. This is a new concept. And they use marketing campaigns to get you to accept it. 1950s, 5%. Not a lot of children born to unwed mothers. We get to 2012, we're almost dang near half. Okay? Some communities, 70% of the children born to unwed mothers. What typically happens right now, the father absence is a crisis in America. 19 million children, more than, well, we're approaching half at this particular point. This is in 2017, live without a father in the home. Okay? And I'm telling you this for a reason, because the guys that want to be fathers, the 4 or 5 of you that raise your hands, probably half of you will not even raise your kid from 0 to 18. You won't even have the authority to do so. The systems are already in place. They got a whole bunch of things in place for you to not be in that home. Your job is to maintain that authority. Remember, I said, oh, being a father is not enough. Or wanting to be a father is not enough. You have to have the authority. You have to be willing to lead. Okay? So what does that lead to? Kids that grow up without a father, 4 times as much to be raised in poverty. 7 times likely to be a teenage pregnancy victim. More likely to experience child abuse. That's normally because potentially the single mother, the co-parent, has moved in another man into your domicile, into her domicile. Okay? Behavioral problems. Who in here was raised by 3% of the prison inmates were raised in single parent households, primarily single mothers. Okay? Child obesity. Are we seeing this today? Are we not seeing this? Okay? 2 times as likely to suffer from obesity. Why? Video games, social media. We're going to get to that. Crime. More likely to be a criminal. Somebody said one time in the 80s, oh, the numbers of the crime rate is going down. Okay? While single parenthood was going up. They wanted an explanation. Well, why is that happening? Okay, it's happening because they're all 'If you grew up with a mother, you're not going to be out there thinking that this is going to make a difference. See, I teach my kids they're not victims. You make your own way. You design your own path. You don't go out there and yell and scream in the streets to try to force people to give you something. This is beta male energy. And I called it out. I'm not afraid to call this out on social media. Okay? I called it out from day one that this ain't it. Okay? What about this stuff? Anybody hear this? It's a movie called Cuties, in which these girls represent 11-year-old girls. Okay? And they're in provocative poses designed We're going to talk about that.
So he said a mouthful, and the truth of the matter is, it's a sad commentary, but in the Black community, it's been kind of like that for a long time. Yeah, I saw Cuties myself. That was a horrible movie. You know, I'm surprised Netflix didn't get more backlash for even showing it. I mean, it was just, you know, you had to watch it to see how bad it really was. I'm not so. It might still be on the channel. I'm not sure. So here's Anissa. She's doing her little Jill Scott thing. If it only was that, it was only that easy, but maybe it is, depending on who you were. Anyway, so again, like when, you know, and this funny because this whole narrative today was thrown at me, and I was saying, well, you know, I think men need to spend more time earning their right to achieve their purpose than worry about holding women accountable. I think, as far as I'm concerned, I think men should even, you know, unless a woman's in your circle, you shouldn't give a shit about what she's doing or what the regular women are doing. I just think that it creates unnecessary agita. But what we can do, and I'll get back to that, is we could support the women who are willing to hold other women accountable. I think that's something that's probably better to do instead of just wasting our time going blue in the face, you know, worrying about what the chicks are doing. You know, it's just, you know, so learning how to walk away might be something. So, I mean, so to get the whole conversation started, I'm just showed a video that BMU sent me where a guy was talking about this very issue about earning the right to hold a woman accountable. And then after that, I don't have any more videos. We'll just be talking. And I have a couple of things in my head I'll throw out there. If any, you know, I don't know what, maybe 100 watts was out. Well, there you go, Trey. I'll bring you up. What's going on, man? Yeah. I mean, your system is a whole lot different. For some reason, man, it's kind of quirky. But yeah, let me play this last video. I mean, what you got on what we talked about so far? What
Yeah, I 100% agree with you as far as it pertains to not being worried about holding women accountable and being on your purpose, and being on your grind. I think that gets lost in the fluff. I think that the whole is it's you get nothing out of it in this day and age, right? And like I said before, like I said in chat, in order to really enforce some sort of accountability, you have to be able to have an ability to give some sort of consequence, right? And thinking that your presence, you know, you just taking your presence away is going to be some sort of consequence. No, they'll just replace you with someone else, right? Like even with the guy who told that story, yeah, he may have thought, oh, I did the right thing, and he did do the right thing, right? But she's just going to find somebody else who's willing to do it. That's all there is to it. She's gonna find a guy who doesn't really care that her son is next door. He's gonna get those cheeks and he's gonna keep moving. So did you really hold her accountable? No, I think what we have to understand is that you and I have an ability to hold people responsible. I can point out who's responsible for these things. We can't really hold them accountable. I can hold my daughter accountable because she's within my circle. As you said before, she's within my sphere, right? But all the other women, I can't hold my mother accountable. I can't hold my sisters accountable. There's no consequence to enforce with them. So, however, I can hold them responsible. I can tell them, you're responsible for this. And I've had these sort of conversations with my mother. You are responsible for a lot of what's happened in my life and in my sister's life. You're responsible for it. But that's as far as it can go.
Right. What they do about it is like, okay, I'm responsible. You know, if their conscience gets to them and they say, well, maybe I should make a change, that's one thing. But you making them make a change, you know, that's, you know, I just think that's one of the things I think men have been banging our heads up against the wall. Not necessarily me, but now I'm thinking about it, is that when we look at the 92%, and that's what they call themselves now, the 92 percenters. You know, in the face of all the things that's going on, if they can't see that the positions they take are destructive, There ain't no amount of talking about it. I mean, there's so much receipts and evidence. I mean, if I look at what's going on in California right now, just for example, I would never vote for a woman like Karen Bass to be mayor. You know what I'm saying? Or any other liberal woman for that matter. The chick up in Boston, to hear what they're talking about, man, golly, are you kidding me? You see what's going on? But no, so anyway, but that's one thing. Let me show this last video just so we can get it all out. And a guy talking on a round table. If I can find it. Is this it? No, that's not it. That's not it. Where is it at? Okay. Yes. Let me. Sometimes it's hard to find these damn things. Oh, there it is. All right.
A lot of y'all out listening to what? But I just gotta be very honest with it. When I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. If you in the sports, if you the leader of the team and the team loses, they gonna come at you, right? Because you the leader, you the quarterback. If we're the leader of the community and if black women are so out of control, or modern women are so out of control, then ain't that on us? Yeah. Like, didn't we drop the ball some fucking way? Because when I think about it, like, we are the least, if we just talk about black men and black women, we are less educated than them. Yeah. And it's getting to the point where we even starting to make less money than them. Yeah. I don't think we even in a fucking position to hold them accountable. Hold each other accountable, let them hold each other accountable, and then we kind of come back and meet in the middle.
Okay. All right. So you got any commentary on that? Now, if you get your emotions out of, not you, but people get their emotion out of it, you got to listen to what he's saying. Because to me, the only part that I could agree with is that let them hold themselves accountable and we hold ourselves accountable. The rest of it we could debate. But what do you think about it?
I think it's silly talk. You're already asking for people who don't hold themselves accountable to then get together as a collective and hold each other accountable. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So that doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, and this idea that I wish these guys would show some statistics. I do know that there are some metropolitan areas where women are out earning men, but overall, as a whole, black women are not out earning black men. I don't know where they keep getting this statistic from. Yes, there are some spots, there are some hot spots in metropolitan areas where women are out earning men, but as a whole, as a collective, they are not out earning men. As a matter of fact, there is no demographic of women that out earn the men within that demographic. All the men out earn.
Yeah, and the statistics also don't tell you that in every demographic, there's more women enrolled in college than their counterpart men. Right. And that's one thing.
They're the most enrolled. That doesn't make them the most educated.
I was going to say that. And the other part is, and I think this is part of brainwashing, that the only way you could become educated is if you go spend $100,000 in college. Now, every one of us who've been through college, I know some people who spent 4 or 5 years in college didn't learn a goddamn thing.
I just watched a video of an electrician who showed his W-2 or his hours worked and his pay.
Yeah.
He worked 43 hours that week. His pay was $3,600. I did the math. That equates to be about $83 an hour. Right. $83 an hour, if he were to work a full-time schedule, equals out to be a little bit over 160 grand a year. Right? So I think he's doing fairly well in his life, being an electrician.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, it's one of these kind of things. It's some elitism that's going on, especially with black women in terms of, and it's an excuse for them to, it's also an excuse for them to look down on the men that they probably should be with, right? Because there's no statistic that says a college-educated man makes a better husband than somebody who works with their hands. I don't see no statistic like that, other than, what I'm saying? There could be. Right. But for black women, the more educated they are, the more prone to divorce.
Yeah, that's
couple of
true.
divorce come from women with degrees. You know what I'm saying? So where's the flex coming from? And so if that's true, then why y'all even thinking about being married? Right? So they're saying, well, there's not enough guys at our level. Well, your level is not as high as you think it is just because you got a degree. It doesn't have
Well,
it doesn't,
they're thinking about marriage because the idea of stability still reigns supreme in the corporate world. You're still seen as more stable if you're married. So that's why.
right.
It's a means to an end. I'm getting married because I want to move up in within my job. I want to progress. And a good sign of that is if I have a husband, if I have a wife, if I have a family, that makes me look more
Right.
stable versus the guy like me who's 40 and single and can go, you know what I mean? I can go live my life and go do whatever I want. And you know what I mean? I don't come across as the most stable guy to them because
Well,
I can leave at any point.
right. So, but that metric you just said definitely goes for men, right? They in higher leadership positions, they rather see you married with a family, something to lose in those corporate seats. Now, women have been spending a lot of time thinking they're men, and the truth of the matter is, a lot of them in mass don't have the grind it takes to be, you know, the ones who make it to the top. They're few and far between, and they're halfway burnt out. Right, because they if they are married and have children, they'll have trouble really juggling all that together. Because
Yeah.
isn't unless they'll ignore certain parts of being a parent altogether.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. And not only that, I'm talking about this leadership thing. Listen, I remember I was listening to Camp one time and he's talking about being leaders. I think that's another thing that men are have to get off of. This whole idea of being leaders of the community. Y'all gonna have to hop off that because in order for you to lead, you have to have people that are willing to follow. The reason why militaries work is because we have people who are willing to follow. Now, granted, they are incentivized with paychecks and whatnot, but you still have people who are willing to follow the leadership. If you don't have anybody who's willing to follow, what are you exactly leading? So his comparison or his of a team, a football team or basketball team, if the coach don't get it right, then he gets fired. Well, it's a little bit different because the coaches don't necessarily lead the team per se. They may come up with the strategies. They may sort of manage the team, but typically your leaders on teams are the actual players, the point guard, the quarterback, you know what I mean? Things of that nature. They're the leaders per se, whereas the coaches are more of the strategists behind it, right? So I think Black men, you have to get off of this hump of, well, the community's failing because we're not leading them correctly. They don't want to follow. So it doesn't matter how well you lead, they don't want to follow.
I'm trying to figure out what community they're talking about, right? The community in the hood, or the community of the elitists, or the community of the college educated. What are you talking? To me, those are all different communities. You know what I'm saying? I think class dividers, because all of these women who want to have so much, they ain't moving back into the hood, and neither are the men. So what community are you talking about? But I could make a case that, and it's an unfortunate one, that the leaders in the worst communities are men. They're just leading you down the path to hell. You know what I'm saying? So this whole notion, if you're going to lead me as a woman and all that, the women, they're looking for leaders. The truth of the matter is they have trouble with men being leaders. That's why liberal women like more effeminate men. So that when you start hearing them talk about, this guy wants to, when they use words like control me and all that kind of stuff, it's that they don't want to, like you said, they don't want to even submit to leadership. They want to be
not only that, they've never seen it. They don't know what it looks like.
A lot of them haven't. Right.
They haven't seen it. Right. I use my family as an example. My sister never saw that growing up. So how could she go give submission to a man which we never watched our mother submit to a man?
Right.
We didn't watch it, or our grandmother for that matter. You know what I'm saying? So you expect her to go out here and do something that she's never done in her life? That doesn't make any sense.
So I mean, okay, so so here we are, right? I mean, we go full circle of these kind of things. Are we really saying to each other is that that what is the real sea change that needs to happen to even just save Black people as a legitimate subculture in America? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because it's getting worse and worse every year, right? This whole, and just forget about the women, but in terms of us being collectives together, right? I think we're spreading further and further apart. Men are going to do what they do. They're going to find a woman, whether she's Black or not, if they want a family to cleave to. They're going to do it. It's just going to happen. Women, on the other hand, right, can say they can go get they're waiting for Zaddy to come pick them up, but Zaddy ain't looking for them either, right? So, and then this whole notion that if they get with a guy who only has, who has a certificate for HVAC, is somehow, marrying down, right? So they're in a quandary, right? Look, this guy could be a great guy, and you're supposed to be, you could go ahead and go to sleep tonight at night with your framed degree, right? Put it right on the other pillow, and you're on this pillow, and you can like pick it up every so often at 3:00 a.m. because somehow most people wake up, it's always 3:00. I don't know if that happens. That's another story. Every time I wake up, it's 3:00. So I just don't know, man. It's in the quandary. I just think I think whatever the programming they have done, this shit's worked perfectly.
Yeah, it's worked perfectly for the women. It's failed the men. The men have to be reprogrammed, and they have to be reprogrammed into following purpose and going after purpose, and not being so concerned and worried about what the women are doing. Right?
Okay.
I've said this before. Women, they ain't going nowhere. You can travel the world. You can go date women in every country. Like you can always come back because they're gonna be right here. They're not going anywhere, right? This idea that you are going to, Anton Daniels talks about this a lot, holding them accountable. You can't hold them accountable. So we're teaching young men, especially, and this is one of the failures of the manosphere and the red pill space, one of the failures in thinking that they were going to be able to hold these women are going to change. They're going to go back to the way it was. No, they're not. You're going to sit around and wait for them to do it. They're never going back to not having bank accounts. They're never going back to not having credit cards. They're never going back to not being able to drive their own cars and having a job. They're never going back. So you're sitting there waiting for a time that's never coming. It's never coming. Instead of adjusting and realizing you have to put yourself in a position that if a woman wants to be with you, this is my program. You are either on this program or you are gone. That's it. There's no in between with this. This is how I run my ship. You are welcome to come and join this. Like I say all the time, this train is moving. You can either get on the train or you can get off the train. But the train will leave you if you're not here. Like that's the only answer you have. That is the only adaptation you have. This idea that you're gonna sit here and wait for women to go back to Sharia law and put their skirts below their knees and all that. That's not happening. It's not happening. It is not happening. And I'm glad you brought up that documentary Cuties. Let that be a shining example of these women are not going back, and it's getting lower in age. The over-sexuality, the hypersexuality is lower and lower and lower, right? Those girls were what, 10, 11, 12 years old, right? Yeah. And they were sexualized with the makeup, the poses, the dancing routines, the whole nine. Right. They're not going back. You got to understand that. And so if you as a man are going to sit there and think, oh, well, I'll just wait until this whole thing's going to fail, and these women, they're going to have to go back very long time. You will probably die while you wait.
Well, here's another thing, though, man. The fact that male leadership somehow depends on how much the women follow you is a bullshit thought too. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because what do you want? I mean, it depends on what you want to lead. I mean, if you want to be the Pied Piper of women, yeah, that's a failure. But your leadership is not a man's leadership is not determined upon, whether the chicks listen to you or not, right? And the only way they would is if you have something that they want, right? And that they will follow. But then you have to decide whether they just coming after you because they want what you have. And that's it. So I have some thoughts. And one of them we already talked about. I said, a man just needs to find purpose that motivates him through life. Because that's Uncle Jeff. Hey, what's going on, man? So what I'm saying is, if you find a purpose that motivates you through life, then I think it can help you transcend the current time that we're in, right? Because by chasing whatever your dream is and whatever your purpose is or whatever that motivates you, it automatically acts as a buffer to bang out all the bullshit that might sidetrack, whether that's social media, whether that's wayward women, whether it's some shit that might stop your train from moving forward if you're focused enough, right? Because it helps you put on those blinders as you move forward. And I think that's where most men need to start to look at, kind of transcend the time you are, and don't let the recency of the way people behave deter you from moving forward. That's why I think some men need to start.
And that's where the reprogramming has to come in.
Right.
Because I can tell you, growing up, that's not what I was told.
No.
I wasn't taught that. I wasn't told to go chase your, go after what you want. I was not what I was told. I was taught go to work, get a good job, become established, married, have kids. That was the routine, right? That's what I was told. And instead, we need to be telling these young guys, listen, the woman and the wife and the whole thing, it's not going anywhere. It will be there. What's most important is for you to establish your stability. As I say all the time, build your kingdom. Build your kingdom. You'll have nothing else to worry about. They'll be banging down the doors to get in your kingdom if you build it properly. You have nothing to worry about. But we have a lot of young guys, and I see it often. Often. We have a lot of young guys. They are so hyper focused, women, girls, and that somehow is the measurement. That's the mark. Well, I got this girl, and it's like, okay, and then it fails when she decides to change her mind. And I say this all the time. Women are on a spectrum. Right? They can bounce in between this spectrum. They can be the good girl. She doesn't want to be the good girl anymore. She can always come back and be the bad girl. And they can kind of bounce in between this. It's a spectrum. And that's how it works. Yeah. That's how it works. Right? A lot of guys who are married now, they're married to the good girl who was once the bad girl at one point in time, right? And so on and so on.
They don't know it.
And they have no, come on, Uncle Jeff, and they have no idea. It is a spectrum. But if you stay focused on what you need to get done, right? He sort of work his way out. And the most important thing, before I let Uncle Jeff cook here for a second, but the most important thing is that when you focus on your purpose, you have leverage and you have options. When you focus on you and focus on what you need, you maintain leverage and you maintain options, so that if a woman doesn't want to act right, she doesn't want to get on your purpose and do anything, thank you for coming, have a good night. And you can move on.
All right, what's going on, Jeff? What's happening, man?
Fellas. I just really was about to co-sign what Trey said and say something what he said before he said it. After the thing he said before, which is, I think, especially young men, not even so much focused on good women. Young men seem to be focused on damage that bad women do and what they can do to avoid it and what they can do to change it. When good woman, great woman, bad woman, evil woman, I don't care what adjective you put in front of woman, should be your focus at period, regardless to what they doing or how they are. When you nail down your purpose, your screening process should become different enough to push them out of the way. Your options are wide open. Right now, the options the average man who does not work on his purpose has for a woman is you're lucky to find one above marginal, because you don't have the woman who's supposed to be with you needs to eat. She wants to join you in a threesome with your purpose. If you're not the fucking purpose, then you're fucking yourself. Yeah, I like that.
You know, I mean, it's funny because when we kind of hit on, I had like 3 points that I put there a little bit too, Trey. But one of the things I had on my list for a minute too was also stop smashing random chicks, man. You know, don't be a whoremonger if you can help it. I mean, from the standpoint of, you know, if you want to be a preventive measures, especially don't make single mothers if you can help it, right? I mean, that shouldn't be your purpose. right? I'm not saying don't have sex. I didn't say that, right? But it should be some discernment that goes along with it, right? Right? Everybody's not supposed to be able to get the joystick, right? I mean, anybody? Okay, look at you fucking guys looking at me like I'm crazy. And so if that we take
Well,
it all,
because I'm a little bit confused. I do agree with not spreading yourself thin with a lot of
right? That's
random
what I'm
people,
talking
right?
about.
I can agree with that, but they are men at the end of the day, and there's an itch that needs to be scratched. So are you saying for them to get into relationships, because then that would then hinder them going to off after their purpose? So maybe they have a buddy, they have a special friend. Is that what you're saying?
But then what I'm saying is like, okay, listen, maybe every man's different, right? So if you need to bang out a honey every day, that's I ain't talking to you, right? But if you can get that itch scratched, once a week, if you have some chick that you like, that have one of those friends with benefit situations. I mean, because every new woman you open that sexual door with, it comes with some complications, or at least it could, right? And even a distraction, right? So I'm just saying, there's got to be some governor to it. Or else, if there's not, we ain't no better than a homosexual man, right? Who has another homosexual man who are plowing each other like crazy. There's got to be some.
Whoa.
What I'm saying is,
that,
listen to me, Jeff. I'm gonna end it here.
I'm gonna have to listen to you because I was kind of listening to you at first, but when it got into dudes plowing each other, I was sure I disagreed with that.
I'm just saying that men generally don't have a governor, right? So I'm just saying, can't we develop some kind of governor over it?
Yes. Okay.
Maybe I should have used that analogy, but that's all I'm saying.
I will say this. I believe that gay men have far more sex than gay women because there's nobody to say no.
That's what I'm saying.
Who says no? A couple of whores. Right. So yeah, I get that, but that's as much as I want to talk about that.
That's it. It's a bad analogy. I didn't want to put the thoughts in everybody's head, but
okay. But with regard to that governor, here's where it goes. And just relax. Once I'm elected emperor, a lot of shit's going to change. Number one, I think my body, my choice should be the law for every woman, to include prostitutes. She should have the choice to sell her thing if she wants to. In fact, there will be a law that every Planned Parenthood has to share a parking lot with a whole house. Because really, what men are after is recreational depletion of sperm count. And what's happening is they are taking that recreation to girls who are playing another game. They're not playing that game. On All-Star Weekend, the dudes are playing recreational sperm count. The girls are playing let's hunt a millionaire with my uterus. And there needs to be a place where a man can recreationally get rid of sperm. I think I would not be mad if a dude told a daughter the following, hey, I really like you and I really want to get to know you, so I want to take sex out of the equation. I don't want us to have sex until we are serious about one another and monogamy. So while I'm dating you and taking you out, it'll be my treat sometimes and your treat sometimes. But until we decide to be monogamous, I'm buying pussy. Are you okay with that? Dude, come on in here and have a beer. Like, he ain't gonna waste your time. He ain't gonna get you pregnant early. He ain't lying to you. And he's honest with his neighbor. Monogamy is not natural. It isn't natural for either sex, to be honest. But it is far less natural for men. It is biologically unnatural. A woman can only get pregnant once for 9 months at a time. Now, she may carry twins or triplets, but that ain't got shit on the fact that I can get 9 girls pregnant this weekend. Not a goddamn thing. And I don't think we're honest about it. because it is that dishonesty that the whole economy turns on. The whole economy. We are now, the family structure is just now crumbling. Just now.
Oh, gosh.
We have functioned on this family structure that, especially in the last 100 years, penalize men for their nature. Well, I'll leave it there as long as there's no. Trey, help me out, man. You can't be no more pilot.
No. Uncle Jeff.
What is this guy doing, Trey?
Nah, Uncle Jeff, you flying this plane just fine. We had cruising altitude. We good to go.
We was down in the men plowing men for a second.
I'm all for bringing back brothels. I love it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Trey got it.
Okay, so
that's what I'm doing. Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, we know who will be the biggest proponents against that, right?
Those who are trying to make you
married women. Married women.
I think single women will be too, because the competition will be too stiff for them.
Because the economy just afforded them an opportunity to pay their bills. So you're gonna have a lot of single women that are gonna take the opportunity and run with it. If you actually have some real conversations with a lot of these single women, at some point in time, they have actually thought about doing this in real life. They have all thought about selling that thing at some point in time. So all you've done is you just open
no.
Right. All you've done is you open up an opportunity for them to actually do this and really be able to make some money. Listen, that's a trade that's never going to go broke, ever. Ever. It's a constant revenue stream. And I want you to think about this. Of that 106,000 Black women that got laid off, how many of them you think have turned to selling that? How many OnlyFans accounts you think were open after that?
Well, let me tell you, man. Listen, I think what goes underreported is how many women in general who fell short on some rent payment, paid with some bond.
I know a ton of women that need a bond fixed, if you know what I mean. They in a bind.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in a bind, Nate. Yeah,
right.
And fixed. Yeah. Right? They've been selling that thing. And now that I think about it, I'm going back to high school. I'm thinking, man, the girls in high school were selling.
Yeah.
They were selling in high school.
Right. Yeah.
They were doing it back then.
I'm going to go this far. Any woman who has a number of dates, a physical number of dates in her head before she will have sex with you is selling you pussy. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Completely agree.
I'm not saying I'm not I believe I've seen them. I've actually been in one. A meaningful relationship with a woman I slept with on the first night. And I've seen niggas wait 90 days and get cleaned out. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about that. Oh, well, he gonna take me out here, here, and here before we do this, this, and that. No, you trying to make you special through my wallet. You to be special after you got out of the shower. That don't have nothing to do with me. So yeah, if you gonna make me wait 3 dates to fuck, then whatever 3 dates equal, that's your number that you put on you.
And our pain, we wouldn't have to worry about the accountability at that point because she's free to do whatever she wants with her body.
That you would bring that up because I was going to kind of go back to that. I don't know if you saw the title of this show, Jeff. Right? In terms of, is it even a proper question to say Black men have to earn the right to hold Black women accountable? Is that even the right way to ask that question?
What do you mean?
That's the big trigger word is earn. What do you mean we got to earn the right to hold them accountable?
There's no such thing as a trigger word. Trigger words are only trigger words for those who better speak the language. I don't speak hyena speak. I don't give
Well,
a
I
fuck
didn't
what
mean
they
to
think.
from that standpoint. I should have said primary word or something like that.
Okay.
One,
Let me
okay.
let me take another route to get to the same place. I don't give a fiddler's fuck what modern black women think about what I have to say. I'm wrong, and so is Isaiah 4 then. So is Madame Noir and SEC. And LA is on fire downtown right now.
Big time.
I don't give a shit about whether about you talking about earning the right to say shit. I am a toothless pimp with a bad clutching a bottle of paint thinner in an old Cadillac that don't run. And I'm going to say what the fuck I'm saying because I happen to be right about it. I don't give a shit. Oh, you got to earn. I don't have to earn shit. You need to read Isaiah 4 properly is what you need to do. That is this is exactly what I'm talking about, Arcane.
Mm-hmm.
We pay way too much attention to these horrible ass broads that the universe is about to take care of. The universe is going to do away with all this shit. All these, oh yeah, men do it too, and got something snippy to say about men, and got something backhanded to the nigga. All of that shit is getting dropped in the French fry grease.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some point, it's going to come down to what you can do with no money in your pocket. Can you farm? Can you catch a fish? Can you hold down a perimeter in charge of other men and keep women and children protected, Trey? That's what it's going to come down to. Do you think that in those, here's the prophetic scenario. Wherever Trey is and cats like him, it's going to be lesser dudes and lesser people who don't know what they're doing who are going to come under the covering of Trey and other dudes like Trey. Do you think any council that Trey sits on is going to put up with any of this hyena speak? No. Take your ass out in the cold prairie with fucking savages. That's what you do. And that's how it's going to be. You ain't going to have to hear shit from none of these broads. None of them. When it's zombies out there waiting to eat your fucking ass, and I don't mean literal Walking Dead. I mean 6th Street in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Where 3 out of 10 people had HIV. Where 5 out of 10 of them is crazy. When the streets look like they finna look, and this shit come unglued, who the fuck you think got to hear some back talk from some fucking hyena? Here's what you do it way out there. And it's gonna be a bunch of out there. And that's when you get to Isaiah 4, where hordes of them will go astray. I'm letting this weave shit. I didn't even wait. I cut it off. What's your program, Trey? I can bake. I don't care if you got 3 other women. What did you, nigga? It's crazy out here, and y'all got guns. That's what it's gonna come down to. And in that, there's no woman you got to put up with. Cold prairie, sister. We're not gonna be in here with you popping your neck and running your mouth funny, causing derision in here with all that idiotic shit you do. Do you know why? Because the French fry grease is right the fuck out there. That's how it's gonna go down. And you know what you're gonna do? Exactly what the fuck I say. That's it. There's no okay. Watch. Here, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna land the plane. You about to see a bunch of Lot's wife shit. Whole bunch of I tell people to love a man can only love God, love people around him, especially now within the perimeter of the Creator. Meaning, when I know the way is right, it makes sense, and I done check that with my Creator, I can only love you up until your obedience of that. I can only keep you as safe as you are obedient. Not friendly, not cooperative, not affable, not personable, not pleasant, not classy, obedient. With this shit that's coming, you better obey a man that makes some fucking sense. Because if you don't, well, I gotta stand over here. You didn't say a bam, bam, boom. You're gonna see a bunch of that.
I hear you. I hear you. Go ahead, Trey. You got something?
I hope it doesn't come to that. I mean, I'm gonna have to delegate authority because that's too much energy for me. Seven is enough. 7 is a lot, but the way they outnumber us, if we talk, it could be 25, 30 of them at once. I'm gonna have to start delegating some authority and power and create some sort of structure here to be.
And what happened when they step out?
Oh, they out of here. That's even now in my life. Even now, I don't you know. I had a conversation with my daughter's mom, and it's funny because I think she was getting ready to say something, and she caught herself. I could see her. She caught herself. And I said to her, I said, yeah, even if we're not together, the same rules apply. Watch your mouth.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Right?
Watch your mouth. She knew it. She was like, I'm not even gonna go down that road with him. So
No,
the rules
not.
are still the same. Because I say this often, I guarantee you will call me needing something from me before I call you needing something
Goes
from
up a
you.
little bit there.
Guarantee it. So be careful, tread lightly. Because I'm quick to tell them I'm like, no. I'll say no. My favorite word is no. I love saying no to people. I walk past homeless people on purpose just so I can tell them no.
No, slow motion. No. But I hear you though. I mean, I think I think we're kind of honing in on the real solution is to, let the people destroy themselves if they want to. I mean, and just be on your purpose. I think if they can't see what's coming, how are you going to really give them a revelation? I think some revelations have to come on your own. I did see Straw, right? I haven't seen the Tyler Perry movie in a long time. And the reason JC asked that question, did you see it? Are we going to talk about it? Because it was a propaganda piece. And I said, let me see this thing so I can reinforce and remind myself why I don't like Tyler Perry movies. And he didn't disappoint. And so, I wrote a little review. And it's real short, right? Because, listen, Tyler Perry is a misandrist. And one of the reasons I figured this out, because he hates men only because he found out that his father, who beat the shit out of him when he was little, was a victim of paternity fraud. He was never the kid. So his father beat his ass all the time because his mother lied to him. And so in his movies, I think he takes it out on his black male characters are always the worst of the worst. And then no matter what fuck shit the women are in, they always have a path to redemption. And I think that's homage to his mother. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I'm looking at it. And I said, this movie sucked, but Taraji P. Henson is in it, right? And nobody plays a pathetic loser-ass woman any better than she does, right? It's like she plays that real good. And then T. Taylor was in it. And she did a masterful job of overacting every chance she got. She's screaming and using and dropping F-bombs, and I don't even think she's that pretty, by the way. But anyhow,
you're talking about Tiana Taylor.
Yeah, Tiana Taylor. Yeah, I call her T.
Yeah.
Taylor. And so I just told people, listen, save yourself 90 minutes and don't watch this shit. I gave it 1 out of 4 Netflix and chill. It was a bad movie. Another bad.
I used to try to give Tyler Perry a benefit of the doubt. I would try to give him the benefit of the doubt and say maybe he's just turning the mirror back on the black community and saying this is what y'all look like. I would try to give him that, but oftentimes that's just it is a reality to some, because I think Taraji plays a single mom. I think she's a single mom. Yeah, I didn't watch the movie. I've read a little bit about it. Okay, she plays a single mom, and so I get that she tried that he's pulling from maybe something that he's been through or that he knows he has some closeness to, some sort of experience on. But to me, one movie, sure, one movie once every blue moon, fine, I can live with that. But sir, this is repetitive. This is the 9th, 10th, 12th movie you've done this way. And so now I have to take away from the fact that you built an empire, and kudos to him for building. I told you guys before, I'll never hate on a black man getting his bread ever. Oh, yeah. I'll never do that. Right. So he's built something substantial. I'll give him credit for that. But the way in which he built it, I don't know if I can respect that.
Yeah. You know what? She was Taraji was a single mom, but she hit on every buzzword single mom you could possibly. I mean, she was, you know,
It's a
all
circumstance
of
of her being a single mom. Did the
they,
boyfriend,
they
did the
didn't really
dad die, or
they didn't really specify it except one little clip where she was talking to the lady. The lady said, "I'm married to a husband," blah blah blah, and she said, "Yeah, Lisa, you picked the right man." So that kind of gives you the impression he was a bad dude. But she
Okay,
had no
let's back
money.
up.
Huh?
Let's back
Hey,
up. What
what you gonna do?
happens is women hear that sentence and it sets them free. At least you picked the right man, because that means right men are so rare, and the right man is such a wild turkey. When you don't want to focus on the fucking word pick, you picked this dude. I don't believe that there is some gotcha bitch nigga out there that's tricking black women. Wait a minute. How come you ain't been to work? Gotcha, bitch. I'm not a lawyer. I actually sell incense and pit bull puppies out the back of my car. No, that you trying to tell me that them two dudes is so different that incense and pit bull puppies keep fucking you around. Is that what you're telling me? That's it. And that's where this is, I've said this. Tyler Perry has fat black middle-aged church women on lock.
Oh
And
yeah,
that
no time. No time.
that is the demographic that was holding America together. It isn't anymore. Because you can't find any fat black middle-aged church women. They're dying because black women have stopped going to church. Everybody has stopped going to church except the most unruly, the most delusional. Look, if I was a new man in any big city, I'm not going to the club to get laid. I'm going to church, nigga. It's easier. It's easier.
yeah, it's a lot of final form happening in church these days. A lot of final form. Like I said, again, I talk about that spectrum. We talk about that spectrum, right? And a part of that spectrum is being saved. You know, finding Jesus, finding God. It's a part of that spectrum, and ending up in church, and now saying, you know, I've repented for my sins. You should take me as I am now. And it's like, and you will have the pastors and the preachers, and they'll back this. Hey, she once was this kind of woman. She is no longer, but she's the one that's tithing every week. She's the one putting in the offering pot every week, which is why you're backing her, because guys like me are looking at this going, I'm not backing. That's nonsense. I'm not giving you my money for that. That's nonsense, right? So you're going to back her because she pays more. So listen, it's a mess. Perry has been known to be a mess as far as I'm concerned. I completely 100% agree with Uncle Jeff that he has a particular demographic of black women completely on lock. They are not going to stray from him. They're never going to say anything negative about him. They're not going to do. He is. I'll just say it. He is their God.
Oh yeah, he's Jesus. He can't do no wrong. Number one,
he can't.
Here's where you can't alienate him. You cannot alienate black women from Tyler Perry by saying he's secretly gay. You know why? Because nobody likes gay men like black women. Number two, you can't alienate black women by saying that Tyler Perry makes movies that's substandard to Spike Lee. You can't, because they speak to, no, we don't care that he makes these substandard movies. He speaks to I can go and for 90 minutes, I don't have to be accountable. And the unaccountable bullshit I'm doing in my life is co-signed by this shit up here. Some dark-skinned dude is the villain. Some light-skinned dude is the hero. Somebody's going to find Jesus, and that dark-skinned dude is going to get his ass whooped by a woman half his size by the end. Dude,
even in Acrimony, they were siding with Taraji in Acrimony, and I'm like, she was wrong. She gave up on the man. The man did right, came back, gave her the check for her part of it, bought her mama's house back. The man did right by her. He moved on with his life, married a beautiful woman, and moved on with his life. Next thing you know, she on the boat, trying to kill him. And they're siding with her. I'm like, how? What am I missing?
Because they all got somebody they want to kill. They got somebody they want to kill.
You're trying to hold this particular demographic and group of women accountable. Good luck,
dude. Here, I'm going to, if I may, I'm going to read a Facebook post. The young lady will remain anonymous. She's a friend of mine, but we go round and round about this ignorant ass black woman shit. We fall out every few years. She blocks me, then we come back, and it's a cycle. I get it. We all may have a difference of opinion, and we all don't see things the same. However, the way some of you all continue to bash everything Tyler Perry does, despite the fact that he employs black actors and actresses at top pay more than any of the other studios, is beyond me. This man has built an entire movie lot that after he's gone, long will be for us to continue being employed, and most folks are still not happy. They refuse to give credit to the 688, which to me was outstanding. I never even heard of these women before this film. That movie made me cry too. Tyler is not that writer aiming to get an Oscar. He's already won anything. He's already won beyond anything a statue could fulfill, in my opinion. His reward is writing about the stories familiar to his own heart. I can appreciate him for that. This is my response. Tyler is very successful. Tyler employs many black people. Tyler inspires many black people. Tyler makes predictable movies. Tyler writes stiff, predictable cardboard cutout stereotypes of black people, namely men. Tyler preys on the pain of black church women. Tyler Perry is to Spike Lee what Church's Chicken is to Nobu. All of these things are true. Being crucified for believing the bottom half of this is just fine with those of us who feel that way. I love you. I don't need your permission to point out the fact that Tyler Perry is not Spike Lee and he is hustling y'all, but y'all don't get it. I don't care if you don't like that. I say that. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, you like it. Good.
Tyler Perry isn't even in the same stratosphere as Spike Lee. Not even close. No. It's not even close. Not even close. Yeah. And listen, my uncle taught me at a very young age that all money ain't good money. And just because Tyler Perry is employing a bunch of black people, as I said before, in what way is he doing this? How is he doing it? And if you're telling me that the only way he can do this is continue to help black women continue to be delusional and unaccountable for their behavior, that's the way he's doing it, then fine. But I realize is that most of the time, the only ones really defending him are gay men and black women. Those are the only ones really defending him.
Well, let's stick with that, though. Let's stick with that. And this is my question. Why, and maybe I don't have the answer, maybe I know a little bit of this answer, but why are black women such a easy conduit for all the fuck shit that's out there? You know, if you want somebody to propel whatever position you have, put a battery in a black woman's back and let her say it for you. Whether you're transgender, whether you are, alphabet community in general, whether you're just ultra liberal, everything goes. Whatever it is, the Tyler Perry movies, the Democratic Party, liberalism in general. Why are they so eager to take the 20% side of 80-20 issues?
That's easy. That's easy. Because everybody you just mentioned has lined up to live bricks and mortar to the mental bullshit house that these people like to build. I will lend you here. Don't get behind my cause. I will lend you a brick for your bullshit house. Here, those black men are horrible, and I'll make a movie about it. I'll make a stance about it. I'll go to Washington and talk about it. I'll talk about all the things that are important to you, but when you need help, I'm nowhere around. I challenge any black woman that watches this, that's here now, pretty please with sugar on top. A group, by official group, point out who comes to your aid as a black woman, you in trouble. Would it be the LGBTQ community? No. Would it be white women? No. But every one of they little crusades, here your black ass at. Why? Because you don't want to get in line behind your man. Why? Because you want to judge your man by a standard that even white men can't follow anymore. You still stuck. You still stuck in grading us by the hustlers. Ain't nobody back there. Nobody's back there. Everybody's either rich or everybody's either broke. And there are 11 people in America that don't fit either of the descriptions. So why are you still grading your man and your people by some shit Europeans can't even do anymore? I'll tell you why. Because it feel good. It don't have to make sense. You just gotta feel good. It feels good to say this ignorant shit. It feels good to go to a movie and see this dude right here who I can lend the characteristics to these niggas. These horrible niggas I picked. All the horrible niggas in my life have one common denominator, my ass. And for 90 minutes, Tyler Perry will let me forget that. Spike Lee might not.
That's right. Yep. There'll be some position in there where you have to be retrospective, and Tyler Perry ain't giving you that. You know, no way. Yeah.
For what?
That is funny, man. But hey, listen, I mean, this is the way it is. So what?
I said, for what? Tyler Perry ain't finna fuck up his money machine?
I know.
He had to give him that.
I'll shut up after this. The scary thing is, Tyler really believes this shit. He's not lying. This is his warped, twisted reality. He is the dude that curls his feet up to him on weekends with his single friends that are female that don't have male friends and watch TV and bash niggas. That's who he is.
You know, he had that. I forgot what interview. What was the interview he did where he was saying that women need to accept the men based the way they are? Like, I remember that interview he did? Remember that interview he did?
Yes, I do. I did a video on it. I can't remember who he was talking to.
And I think he had to give him something back because those women, they unleashed their hounds. They let him have it. They let him have it. And you know what irritates me, where I live in Maryland, it's quite a diverse place. And I pay attention to couples when I see them out. And I use this example a lot because it's the Hispanic culture, but I oftentimes receive Hispanic couples and I look at them and like, they're just average, regular people. And they're figuring it out. Right? Now, one of them, the guy isn't 6'4", he's barely average height. She isn't a drop dead gorgeous model, but she's attractive enough, you know what I mean? And I see them continually to put themselves in positions where they have families and they have kids and they work together and they build something. And it's not necessarily for them, but it's for the generation that comes behind them. Right. And I oftentimes wonder, what is the issue with us? Like, you're not a drop dead gorgeous model, sweetheart. I'm not 6'4" and overly handsome. You mean to tell me we can't get this thing figured out? You mean to tell me the majority of people who are average looking can't get this thing figured out? But because you have such unrealistic and delusional expectations, and even when guys like Tyler Perry try to tell you, hey, that's a little crazy, right? And even when you have Cardi B just said something like, "What's wrong with the guy who gets up and goes to work every day?" It's coming from Cardi B.
Right. Right.
Now, you know, when she's making sense, the whole thing getting ready to burn up. She's the one saying it's like, "Hey, what's wrong with an electrician? What's wrong with a roofer? What's wrong with that? He gets up, he goes to work every day. You don't want to be with that." We have a, and it's obviously it's not all women, but we have a group of women. We have a group of women who think that they can hold out for the 6'4" guy who's never coming. It's never going to happen.
No, it's not. That's for sure. And that's something they have to work out on their own. You know, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's going to their own. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem they have. They believe in the shit they believe in, and it's a waste of time trying to change their minds. And I think that's the revelation that I think men need to come to. If you're looking for something specific as a man, you need to be able to navigate past those waters, and know that your journey is going to be long. To find a person that can at least be, you know, moldable to something that's worth marrying. If you want to get married, now most people don't want to get married, and both men and women. I think most people don't want to get married anymore.
And I'll put a bow on this. I won't go in, but this is how I think. If women say that they don't want to date down, then that ultimately means that the man that you are with is dating down. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna slow down for a lot of y'all because that's quick, too quick for some of you. If women say that they don't want to date down, then that means that the man that you are with, he dated down. Because you are ultimately saying that the men that are beneath you don't want. So you want somebody who is superior to you, which means that he has to date down.
Yeah.
This is where we have so many problems. We have so many problems. Whereas I look at other communities and I'm seeing them figuring it out at 22. I see so many young couples, and I'm like, there's no way in the world they got this figured out. I remember being 21 years. I thought I had it figured out. I realized, no, I didn't know shit, right? But I could see them at least trying to figure it out. We don't have that in this community because a lot of these women have been programmed, Tyler Perry movie, Waiting to Exhale movies, all these types of things, right? They have all these things that have told them, well, hold out for the rich man. You deserve, that's the word they love. You deserve the rich man. No, you don't. The market will always decide. The market's decided for me. The market decided for you, R-Pain. The market will always decide what you will and potentially get. And guess what? I'm an average looking guy. The best I can do is slightly above average. I may be able to luck up and maybe pull a little bit higher than that, but the market will ultimately decide. And is that really so bad? No. Could I have a happy life? Sure. But I know one thing is I don't ever want to be in a situation where the woman that I'm with thinks that she's dating down, right, or that she had to settle.
It's crazy. You know, it's just absolute madness. And it's going to, like I said, it's not going to hurt the men in the long run. I think men come to their realization, just like what you just said, a whole lot easier than women, right? We got our own kind of delusions, but that's not one of them. You know, because typically, you know, if you're a 500-pound dude, 400-pound dude, you know you don't deserve you know you don't deserve it. Yeah, we don't have no delusions over that shit, man. You know, you ain't getting that chick. You know, that's it. It ain't happening. You know, and
you know what most of the delusion comes with broke men who think that women are free. That's where their delusion comes. A lot of guys who don't think that they need money to be able to sustain a lifestyle with a woman, but yet you have dreams of pulling that IG baddie. I can tell you right now, those IG baddies are monetized, brother. You better have some cash and lots of it. You better have a whole lot of money, because she ain't free. You think them boobs and that BBL and all that, you think that was free? No, somebody paid for that. So we have, that's where the delusion comes from the men. The men all think, oh, you know, she should just want me. No, you're broke. So you have to work your way up. You have to work your way up. Now, what I suggest is finding a woman on your level that you can work with. And y'all can build together, right? That was always my approach until I realized that women were looking at me like I was beneath you. How am I beneath you?
You ain't got shit. What you talking about? Yeah, that's true. I mean, but you know, the statistics prove that out, Trey. Like if you found a 300-pound woman, she wants a guy who's in the gym every day, right? I deserve that kind of guy, right? She's 350 pounds, just like a single baby mama with 8 kids from 17 different men. She doesn't want to deal with a man with baby mamas. She wants a single guy with no kids. 62% of baby mamas want a single guy with no kids because they don't. And guess what? Because they don't want baby mama drama. You know what I'm saying? It's just
isn't that ironic? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure.
And so to the topic tonight, how can you ever hold a woman accountable who thinks that she's settled for you? How can you ever hold a woman accountable who thinks you are beneath her and that you're lucky to even have a woman like her?
You can't. Yeah, it's true.
You can't hold her accountable. It's impossible. She truly believes that she cannot make a mistake. She can't do anything wrong. Because you aren't going to say anything. You should be happy that you even got her. So that's why I said we got to get off this accountable thing.
Man. Yeah, you know,
and stop trying.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, like I said, you know, BMU kind of like this title. I usually come up with my own titles, but he came up with this one. And so let me go ahead and give it a swing on this one. And that's what I was saying. But the truth of the matter, I remember you talking about if you don't have no way of, punishing or making the person repercussions for them being unaccountable, you can't do anything. But getting back to that point you just made, you know, me being married, one of the things that gave me, I guess not just the courage, but was okay with me because my wife gave me every indication that she wasn't looking anymore, that I was her best choice. Right? I mean, for every act, all of her actions just led to that, just led to that, everything she's done. And the way I think about it now is, could she have held out for somebody better? Possibly. But the point really is, I know for a fact she could have got much worse. I know for a fact she could have got much worse. You know, so I think, you know, maybe she came to that realization herself. I don't know. But I've never had to worry about her at all. For some reason or other, she just makes it that way. So I feel cool about that. But yeah, but a lot of guys miss that part.
But that also is, and I've said this before, and all the women in my family lost it. Literally, like they all jumped on me. But it's the truth. It's because your wife, there was a maturity there. The women of today are mature. I said there was a maturity there. And the women of today are immature. Your wife looked at this and had a mature decision to say, this is the best that I'm going to do. So let's lock in. Let's do this. Let's lock in. Right? As opposed to being immature and thinking, I can do better. I can do better. And all the things that's happening is you're just getting older, baby. So
yeah.
And you aging. You're losing age and you aging. And that's all that's happening.
Even actually kind of
the maturity of a woman. This is good. This man's hardworking. He's intelligent. He's got good character, good morals, good values. Maybe, you know, there's a religious or spiritual aspect involved in that. There's a maturity that comes along with a lot of dating that I truly believe that in today's society, these women do not have it. And to be fair about it, the men don't have it either. Right? So you got a bunch of yeah. So you have a bunch of immaturity happening, and nobody knows which way is right. Right. And because the elders were poisoned with feminism and all this other stuff, they can't even help them. They can't point them in the right direction because you used to be able to go back. And then your elders would say, we'll point you in the right direction. Nah, that's a good woman, bro. You know, marry her. That's a good girl. You know, oh, that's a good man. Marry. They can't now because you got the big mamas and saying, girl, you don't want to be up under no man and da-da-da. You know what I mean? we don't have that anymore. So what do? The Black community as a whole has to grow up.
Oh, look at my man here, man. Big Ant 11. Hey, thanks for the super chat. So, Payne, are you saying that your wife turned down James Brown to keep you? Come on now. Come on. Come on, man. You always got something, man.
She could have been with James Brown. She could have been with James Brown.
Yeah, so he could be beating the shit out of her, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and cheating on her every week.
Anyway, man, that's a good one, man. Thanks a lot for the super chat. Yeah, but you're right, though. I'm like I said, it's just the way it is. But I don't think I think as long as we keep fighting, when I say we, Black men in general, I think we're starting to say, you know what, we are going to just move our own way. And I'm not talking about SYBM either. I'm just thinking men are saying, okay, we know that you're there. You know, you got a nice ass, a nice tits, but I'm not going crazy over shit no more. You know? And here's the thing, and this is a different topic, but I really believe this. That if they ever perfect those lifelike dolls, women, they with the soft, subtle skin and all that kind of stuff, I think, man, I think men will just go ahead and buy one, man, and that's it. Because I think men don't want the agita of. Maybe I'm wrong because I've already made my decision, but it seems like if you can get the soft, subtle shit, man, that you need, and the interaction, do they really want that? The angst that comes with having a chick, a real chick. Now, if you're never going to marry one, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, I'm saying if you really want to be a free agent, but they say most guys have trouble with women anyway. So if they could whip down a one-time deposit of, 10 grand to get one of them Chinese things and shit, you just got to, make sure you clean it properly, and they could talk to you and, you could program the motherfucker, man. And she can move. I
don't agree with you on this one. Sorry. I think that women will be far more prone. Well, let's just look at it now. Who buys the most toys in the market now? It's women.
Well, but this is
women. I think they're going to be far more prone to buying robots more than men will. I think men will always want the real thing. I think you'll have some guys. You'll have a small group that will probably be okay with the robots, but majority of men, I tell you right now, I don't want no damn ring. I want an actual real woman.
Yeah, I agree with you, but
if you've never been with a woman, then I can understand because you don't know what you're missing. You don't know exactly what you're missing. But you cannot tell me that as a man you want to go from being with a real woman to being with a robot. I can't see that.
No, I'm not saying that. I mean, if a guy typically don't have any problems getting it, but we do know that you're right. Women use more toys, but they already have the toys. They got the shit with the plunger thing. They got all the toys they need. Right. As a matter of fact, they use them so much that they're desensitized.
Yep.
So they're even more desensitized to the real thing than some guys who watch porn a lot. Because of, I mean, it's so maybe it's a wash. I don't know. But I think guys, one of the big problems men have with women is not the sex part, but the interaction part. What's funny? This
Lit is a fool. Guys will be hooking up a Cummins diesel with a Lockheed rear wheel differential naturally aspirated. That's funny.
Hey, listen, man. It's like I thought, man. Listen, there's got to be a market coming because guys are putting an awful lot of money into the research to develop these things.
Yeah, let me tell you what the market is. The market is brothels and pay for play. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see that way more. It's already less taboo than it once was.
Oh, of course.
You're going to see it go into overdrive. just can't see men, especially men who have been with an actual woman. I can't see them wanting to go to a robot. However, they were talking about artificial wombs, and I disagree with that on too. I say, if you think men are going to use some more artificial wombs, no, it's going to be 40, 50, and 60-year-old women who decided to have a career and now can't have a baby. They'll be the ones using artificial wombs. And for one, they'll have the money to pay for it, but two, they'll be more apt to using it because their time has passed. So we have a lot of things that we think that once this stuff comes out, all these women they done for it. No, that's not how it's going to work. That's not how it's going to work. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work that.
Here we go. Here we go with another big ad. All right, big ads just dropping the dimes, right? I don't know how a robot of Halle Berry without the crazy see there, Halle Berry without the crazy.
We talking James Bond, Halle Berry, we talking which Halle Berry we talking?
Boomerang.
Oh yeah, we talking Boomerang Halle Berry? For sure. Which Halle Berry we talking? We talking Luce and Isaiah Halle Berry? Which one we talking?
Luce and Isaiah, man. Shoot. You know how much kind of work they had to do on her to make her look bad?
Bruh, I'm sure they had to have 2 makeup teams.
Yeah, man.
I just saw a picture of her. You remember the singer Aaliyah? Yeah. I saw a picture of her and Aaliyah. They were standing next to each other. And Aaliyah is not and was not an ugly woman. She's a beautiful woman. And Holly, I was like, yo, Holly was top tier beauty. Like unreal. Like she's standing next to a beautiful woman.
Man.
And I'm like, she's killing.
She was gorgeous. Yeah, she was gorgeous, man. What's she doing? Pushing 60 now?
Oh, strictly business, Holly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Strictly business, Holly. Yeah.
Strictly business, Halle Berry was a problem. Yes, sir. I completely agree with you, Big Ant. I 100% agree with you, Big Ant. Wow. As a matter of fact, that picture that I saw, there was another picture that I saw that was showing, and it was saying that this was top tier Halle Berry, and it was a picture from Strictly Business. Yeah, she's absolutely gorgeous, man. Absolutely. Yeah, man, but now she out here slanging a lube now. She out here slanging lube now. So she done fell off.
What you mean?
You ain't see the video she did with her boyfriend in the bed, and she's talking about the lube that she had.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. But I was just thinking how lucky Philly was.
That woman has won an Academy Award, and she out here slanging lube. It's crazy. It's rough out here, man. It is rough. It is rough out here.
How many guys she got sucking off her money? At least 2 or 3 guys. She paid alimony to.
Hey, what Uncle Jeff said? She picked him.
Yeah, she picked him.
She chose him.
Absolutely, man. So that's funny, man. Anyway, so listen, I think we did come and we actually solved the issue. We actually solved the issue. Yeah, we don't have to earn shit to hold women accountable. We don't have to hold them accountable at all. Fuck them. Do what you're gonna do, and we have to just make sure we're on our own grind, and that's it.
Hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Focus on you. Focus on your purpose. Focus on your drive. Focus on your destiny. Focus on what you're supposed to be doing. We got to get these young guys to stop worrying about these women, man. No. It's fruitless. You're not going to go anywhere with it. Focus on you and get where you need to be, and that way, when you get where you're supposed to be, you have the leverage, you have the options, and you can make any determination of what type of woman that you want.
And the woman that you want will be the one that when you turn around, she'll be right there looking at you. Pretty much, you don't have to go. That's a great discriminator, I mean, there's plenty of these ladies don't want to, even the ones that you think have their shit together, they don't want guys who are on their square. They don't want those men. Even if those guys are high value, they want them in the way they want them. They want to be able to dictate the terms. Right? So I'm going to be a corporate giant. I'm going to do all the shit that I can do to get where I'm at just so I can have you tell me how to live. You know what I mean?
That makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
A man of that caliber, a man who's worked his way up, The latter, he probably doesn't. He doesn't operate that way. You're not going to be able to tell him to do anything. He's probably gotten to that point in his life because he's refused to do certain things a certain way. So you think you can be able to come in there and just start telling that man what to do? It doesn't work that way, which is why oftentimes these very successful men look for more traditional, docile, submissive women. That way they don't have to put up with this boss chick energy, boss chick attitude type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing too is like when they broach like these things like prenups. You know, if the woman does a hiccup on the notion of a prenup, it's over. You know what I'm saying? You know, listen, you're going to get with me and we're going to debate whether I should give you a prenup or not because of some stupid reason and you don't trust me. No. Well, you know what? That means you ain't for me. You know?
Like I said, I was having a conversation with a young guy. He's 21 or something like that. And I know his mom, and he was talking about getting married. And I was saying, you need to get a prenup. And he disagreed with me. Long story short, he disagreed with me. And I said to him, I said, you need to be able to protect yourself against if she changes her mind. If she never changes her mind, the prenup is just a piece of paper. It's irrelevant. I said, but what if she changes her mind? What if she doesn't love you anymore? And what if she doesn't want to be with you anymore? What if she just decides that's not what she wants to do anymore? You have zero protection because you thought she was going to be the woman that would never do that. We got a lot of guys out here that are the not my girl, not my wife, not my daughter. Yes, your girl, your wife, your daughter too. And so you need to protect yourself against these things. If she never changes her mind, you never have to worry about it. Right. But if she should decide that she wants to change her mind, you need to have some protections in place to make sure that you don't lose your house and you don't lose your assets. Hulk Hogan, you remember Hulk Hogan? Say your prayers, your vitamins, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, Hulk Hogan. You know that when he got his divorce, he had $10 million in an investment account. You know his wife took 70% of it. Jeez. She took $7.4 million of that investment account, 4 cars, the house, and some more. She didn't drop not one leg drop on anybody. She didn't give one person the boot. She didn't slam Andre the Giant at WrestleMania. She walked out of there with over 70% of the assets. That's why you get the prenup, to protect yourself if and when she does change her mind. That's all. She never changed her mind. Don't worry about it.
Right. I mean, you know what? It's really irresponsible these days not to do it one way or the other. All emotional shit is just bullshit. It's really irresponsible. Anyway, you got any last words? I guess Jeff, he's gone.
Another good topic. The key word in this is earn, and I think that men should be focusing on earning. When they put in that type of effort, the only earning you should be doing is earning enough money to build your kingdom. You should be focusing on your purpose, focus on what it is that you want to do. If you're going to earn anything, earn towards that. No, don't worry about earning something so that you can hold a woman accountable. It's fruitless in the end. You're not gonna go anywhere with it. You are literally wasting your time. Don't worry about being the leader of a community. Focus on you. Focus on her. Great time.
Hey, listen, you're right. I should have used the word keyword instead of trigger word, but it's the keyword in there. Anyway, listen, JC, thanks for even Lady D, man. Thanks for stopping by. Lit, Anissa. Everybody's Big Ant, of course. Thanks for the contributions. And listen, I guess it's kind of early. Hour and a half. Hey, for Brother Jeff coming up, we had a good conversation. And so with that, man, I'm going to just say good night, man. We're going to be out of here. All right. Take it easy, Trey.